You're watching San Francisco Rising with Chris Manners. Today's special guest is Michael Lambert.
Hi, I'm Chris Manners, and you're watching San Francisco Rising, the show that's focused on restarting, rebuilding, and reimagining our city. Our guest today is Michael Lambert, the city librarian for the City and County of San Francisco, and he's with us to talk about how our libraries are helping our economic recovery, new library facilities, and special events. Mr. Lambert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Chris. Glad to be here.
Now, I know that the library had to pivot during the pandemic by closing branches, making programs go virtual, and having touchless book pickups, etc. But what do our current visitor and circulation numbers look like? Have we fully recovered?
Yes, we are well on our way. Our staff stepped up big time during the pandemic to respond to the public health emergency as disaster service workers. And since last May, we've been able to steadily increase in-person access to library facilities. Currently, we're at about 95% of our pre-COVID hours of operation. But in the coming weeks, we're going to fully restore all of our hours. We have 4 branches that we're going to bring back to 7-day service. They're currently operating at 5 days a week. So we're going to get back to our favorite tagline, every library, every day. And I know not all of the foot traffic has returned to San Francisco, but the library is seeing a resurgence of our patrons coming back.
Can we talk about how the library can help our residents recover economically post-COVID? I'm thinking about tech training programs, classes, small business advice, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So that is part and parcel of our mission. We were doing that work pre-COVID, and certainly the library stepped up during the pandemic. We doubled our level of programming for personal finance, small business help, jobs and careers. We have a dedicated small business center here at the main library. There's a wide suite of programs that are librarian-led. As an example, we have Financial Planning Day coming up in October. So we'll have one-to-one financial coaches that members of the community can come into the main library and take advantage of their expertise.
Now, I understand that the Mission branch is in the middle of a major renovation. How's that going? And are there other new construction projects on the horizon?
Yes, we have some major capital projects in the pipeline. Our historic Mission Branch Library, it's a historic Carnegie library, over 100 years old. And we're investing approximately $25 million to restore the historic grandeur of that facility. We're going to restore the original entrance on 24th Street, the staircase from the lower level up to the grand reading room. We're going to push out on the Orange Alley side of the library and expand the space for teens and children. We're going to create a robust community meeting room, a multi-purpose space. We're also investing $30 million in the Chinatown branch, the Hemmark Live branch. We're going to upgrade the mechanical systems to the highest level of filtration as we increasingly respond as cooling centers and air respite centers. We're going to open up access to the roof that has some unique views of Chinatown to make it the inspiring space that it is.
I believe you also have programs for families that provide free and low-cost passes for museums, zoos, theaters, and other cultural destinations. Is that correct?
Yes, Discover and Go. It is a fabulous resource. It's accessible through our website. So with your library card, our patrons, our residents, they can go to the San Francisco Public Library website, sfpl.org. They can get museum passes for the Asian Art Museum, right next door, SF MoMA, the De Young, all of the incredible cultural institutions that we have in San Francisco, all for free with your library card.
How are these great free services paid for? How is the library system funded?
We are so fortunate in San Francisco. We are funded by the Library Preservation Fund. So San Franciscans agreed 28 years ago to tax themselves just for library services. And we also get a dedicated portion of the general fund. So put together, that allows us to be one of the most well-supported, well-funded library systems in the entire country. We have 28 library locations in a 7 by 7 square mile city. That puts us in rarefied air. We have the third most library outlets per square mile of any municipality. All of our branch libraries have graduate, professionally trained librarians on site. The level of service that we're able to provide, the collections, we are really a leading library in our country.
And that leads me on to ask about your biggest annual event that's coming up soon. One City, One Book. How does the event work and what's happening this year?
We are so excited for this year's One City, One Book. I believe we're in our 14th year. This is our signature annual literary event. We get everybody in the community reading the same book. This year's title is This Is Ear Hustle. And this is by Nigel and Earlonne Woods. And it's named after the Pulitzer Prize nominated podcast by the same name. So this book sheds insight into the lives of our justice-involved population. One nice thing about this year's selection is that Nigel and Earlonne Woods are both local. So we're going to have several weeks of programming kicking off next month. It will culminate in an event here in the Koret Auditorium on November 3rd. So our library patrons will get to meet the authors, hear from them directly. And one other important aspect about this year's selection, we have our own jail and reentry services department. And recently, the Andrew Mellon Foundation awarded the San Francisco Public Library $2 million to work with the American Library Association to shine a light on our best practices here in San Francisco and really help our peers in the industry learn how they can replicate the service model that we're doing here in San Francisco.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show, Mr. Lambert. Thank you for the time you've given us today.
Thank you, Chris.
And that's it for this episode. We'll be back with another one shortly. You've been watching San Francisco Rising. For SFGovTV, I'm Chris Manners. Thanks for watching.